My boyfriend was picky about the Valentine's Day gift I gave him. So I'm turning him into an ex-boyfriend. A couple days later, I swiped the blurb that the founder of a company was rummaging through trash cans all night. He said he was looking for his Valentine's Day gift from his wife. Wonderful novels converge into a book. Subscribe to the Star and Moon romance not to miss the full text of a broadcast to the end. Don't forget to press the like, leave a message, share, subscribe, turn on the little bell. The wonderful story now begins. Ta-da! I pulled out the mechanical keyboard I had prepared for Ethan and looked at him nervously and eagerly, anticipating his reaction to receiving his Valentine's Day gift. Ethan scanned the branding of the box and frowned slightly, but quickly returned to his normal self as he took the gift from me and politely thanked me. But next time you buy this kind of digital product, you can ask me first. You don't know about this. It's easy to lose out. I squeeze out a smile. Tone pretend to be relaxed. This keyboard is not good? I listened to. I tried to explain to him that it was recommended by Ryan, that you said you wanted this keyboard, but was interrupted by Ethan. Don't listen to the internet. Those online do a lot of marketing. The product is not necessarily good. Keycaps are made of. Ethan was going to explain something specific, but he looked at me and suddenly stopped. Then he sighed slightly. Forget it. You don't understand even if you say it. In short, it's just not cost-effective. You have a low salary. There's no need to buy it. This keyboard, you return it. Ethan's cell phone rang. I knew the ringtone indicated an emergency at the company. Sure enough, Ethan received the call with a frown on his face, then hung up the phone and gave me an apologetic look. Sorry, there's a bug. Ryan can't cope with it. He has to go back to look at it. It's fine. Go ahead. Work is important. I smiled understandingly, just as I had before. Ethan gave me a routine hug before he left the house, saying that the holiday was just a formality and that he'd treat me to a romantic dinner when he was free. My tone was light and I jokingly slaughtered him. And 99 roses. Ethan agreed. But he forgot that he also promised me last week that he would take me out to dinner and give me a huge bouquet of flowers for Valentine's Day this year. It was nothing. I ate a few bites of my meal hastily and started clearing the dishes from the table. Maybe he used to want this keyboard and now he's switched to another brand. Ethan's company is on the upswing, so it's normal to be busy. I've had a lot of emergencies when I was a public relations specialist, and he didn't say anything. Besides, he gave me the latest bag, which is much more expensive than a keyboard. I cell phone searched the difference, mentally estimated the difference, and got a figure of 2 months of my salary. And I flashed a world-weary smile. I let out a long breath and re-cleaned the table, but the next second my hand slipped and the plate fell to the ground. I crouched down to pick up the pieces, but my finger made a big cut. I froze and looked at my bleeding finger. And when the blood dripped onto the floor, I reacted and went to look for Band-Aid to stop the bleeding. But the wound was too big. And soon the blood soaked up the Band-Aid and made my hand full of blood. I took a deep breath, hastily wrapped the wound in a paper towel, and took a taxi to the hospital alone to see the emergency room, register, get in line, and counted my blessings. Queuing time, there is a young couple. Listen to the chat content seems to be the boy cooking to the hand. The boy is very remorseful. The good Valentine's Day spent in the hospital. The girl comforted him. Said, nothing, Valentine's Day is just a form. As long as we want. Every day is Valentine's Day. The boy's ears quietly read. He whispered, "But I can borrow today. Once again tell you how much I like you." He came up to the girl's ear and whispered something, and the girl broke into a happy, sweet smile. I watched in a bit of a trance. 5 years into the relationship. It seems like the only time I heard Ethan say like was during the confession. Because Ethan is so rational. He's not very good at taking emotions for granted. He thinks that Valentine's Day, and Sweetest Day are all marketing campaigns for consumers. And this Valentine's Day dinner was a date for him to make up for my complaining that I hadn't seen him for too long. He's been working on a new project for a while, and he's been sleeping at the office almost all of the last month. I'd been to visit him at work during that time, bringing a meal I'd cooked, and then overheard his staff talking about me in private. He narrowed his eyes and said, in a tone that sounded uncomfortable to me, "Was girlfriend is quite pretty. I heard she's a public relations specialist." What kind of public relations specialist? Calling the number interrupted my memories. I got up and went to the clinic. The doctor said I had to get 4 stitches. I nodded my head, fairly calm. But when it was time for the stitches, the doctor said, "Are you here alone?" I was so emotional that I couldn't stop the tears from pouring out of my eyes. I wanted to say I'm fine, but I just started to cry. Anyway, I was already embarrassed. So I gave up on myself and simply opened my voice and bawled until the doctor panicked a little bit. Hey, there is still one more stitch. It will be over soon. Very soon. Why are you crying? The female doctor was trying to divert my attention by chatting with me during the stitching, but I didn't realize that I was suddenly crying so hard. Why was I crying? Was it because Ethan verbally promised to come to the Valentine's Day date he was preparing for, but he was too busy and forgot to make a restaurant reservation? Was it because Ethan was called to work overtime and I had to spend Valentine's Day alone? Is it because it hurts too much to get stitches for a cut hand? It's okay. It's okay. Every problem has a solution. I can cook our favorite dishes. Ethan promised me to make up for the date in 2 days. I'm a mature adult. I'm too old to have a temper tantrum with Ethan. And I'm perfectly capable of going to the hospital for stitches alone. I could have, for the millionth time, told myself it was okay and helped Ethan make excuses. But unintentional questions from the sidelines punctured the lies that could only fool me about myself. I finally recognized the sorry state I was in the eyes of others. Many times, my boyfriend of 5 years had been absent in the moments when I needed him. I stabilized emotionally and tried to explain my loss of control, but ended up blurting out, "I have a boyfriend." The female doctor seemed to grunt. Okay. You know you have a boyfriend. I'm the only one who's single and working the night shift on Valentine's Day. She seemed to realize something and stopped talking. Come on. Straighten your hand. Wrap the gauze. Finally, she said a few words of caution. I sniffled. The tears had stopped. The emotional outburst just now made me a little embarrassed. Before leaving, said thank you, doctor, several times. There's more. The female doctor winked at me. There are thousands of men in the world. If this one doesn't work, we'll change it. I giggled and smiled my first smile of the day. Once again, I thanked the doctor with all my heart. When I got home, Ethan wasn't back yet. The house, filled with the atmosphere of 2 people living together, made my mind start to wander again. So I had to force myself to get busy and clean up the rest of the dishes, trying to escape to think for a while. Eventually, there was nothing else to do. So I sat down and turned on my cell phone, aimlessly swiping through my friends' circles. I saw that half an hour ago, Ryan had updated a friend circle. Single dog or not. Tonight is overtime corporate drone sleepy. The accompanying picture was a photo of him rolling his eyes in front of the computer. Behind him were all his colleagues working overtime. Ethan was right next to him, wearing glasses, looking intently at the computer. Ryan is Ethan's cousin. He worked behind Ethan on projects when he was in college, and after graduation, he joined Ethan's company as a matter of course. When I was preparing the gift, I asked Ryan privately for his opinion, and Ryan recommended a mechanical keyboard, saying that when we talked earlier, his brother said he wanted a new keyboard. They have a good relationship, and Ryan recommended 3 brands that they had chatted down before and felt good about. I looked at the photo of the same keyboard. Suddenly thought, if this keyboard is Ryan's gift, Ethan should not have so many opinions. In Ethan's eyes, I always seemed to be a tacky, pretty schmuck. I would follow the trend of buying impractical things, easily cheated, working a job that was unstable in his eyes, and receiving a salary that barely supported me. Doesn't understand the jargon. Doesn't care about parameter configurations. Struggled the most with science in school. So simply doesn't talk to me about the fields he's interested in. He feels that it is unnecessary to talk to me about this, rather than choosing to communicate with someone who has a knowledge base, and each other can quickly get effective information. This was the response I got from Ethan when I talked to him earlier about communication. He pushed his glasses up on the bridge of his nose, and because he was tall, he lowered his head slightly to look at me, and asked me in a polite, consultative tone, "Is this bad? I don't think you're interested in those numbers." I wanted to say something, but couldn't refute it. Ethan always seemed to be right. He's very smart and has had a smooth ride, always topping the class in school and getting guaranteed admission to a top university. In college, he and his classmates participated in a startup incubator, and their project was spotted by an investor. His family is well off, so his parents supported him to start his own business straight after graduation. And now Ethan's company has made a name for itself in the industry, with an unimaginable future. Ethan was born to be admired, and his cousin Ryan once joked that his cousin had been his admirer since he was a child, and that he would follow him for the rest of his life. I was one of his admirers. I fell in love with Ethan because of a college sorority that pulled me over, and only after I fell in love did I realize that he turned out to be such a great guy. So strange. I used to watch the love story of the scum of the school bully look up, and after he was together. But I became apprehensive before I told him my degree. I also secretly in the internet to check the couples with a large gap in education can be together. When I gathered the courage and told Ethan that I was an ordinary state university, Ethan and then continued to buy movie tickets. You don't have anything to say? I'm not from U of Z. Ethan was so calm that it made me wonder. I was being dragged to a sorority by my best friend at U of Z. I was afraid to give him the wrong impression that I was a 985 college student. Ethan narrowed his eyes suspiciously, as if he was probing my meaning. So, I'll tutor the kids if they have any problems with their studies in the future? My ears reddened at Ethan's question. At that time, Ethan and I had only been in a committed relationship for a week, and physical contact was limited to holding hands. Then it's a deal. I stepped forward and grabbed Ethan's hand tightly. What Ethan may never know is that he gave me the courage to chase after him that day. It's not that there haven't been gossips and gossip. It's not that there haven't been questions and targeting. But I think I can ignore all these slight stings. And as long as I keep getting better and better, one day, I can do more than just look up to Ethan. I can stand squarely beside Ethan. The 20-year-old me looked up to the 22-year-old Ethan with eyes full of admiration and love. And now I am tired of loving Ethan for that matter. I have to admit that Ethan and I do not start from the same line. My efforts cannot catch up with his genius. After graduating from college, I entered a good public relations specialist company in China with the creative work I usually accumulated. But my initial position determined that my salary was far less than Ethan's, who was already the founder of the company. At the beginning, I was very busy. I had to learn everything. And overtime work for public relations specialist was also the norm. Ethan felt that this job was unstable. And although he respected my choice and supported me to build my own career, he also expressed implicitly that he hoped I would change to another, more cost-effective career. Even if I've been the fastest promoted newcomer in our company, even if I'm now doubling my salary, it's as if no matter how much I run forward, I'm still standing still in his eyes. And I was getting tired of the relationship. I was Ethan's first love. And a lot of people are surprised to hear that. In a tone of voice that I vaulted the smartest cabbage in all the land. Ethan wasn't very good at relationships. Probably because he didn't need to impress anyone. He would be methodical, analyzing to me how unnecessary and even a little stupid certain couple behaviors were. His reasoning made me, who was trying to add to the fun of the relationship, seem like I was being irrational. But the good thing is that he also knows another maxim in relationships. Girlfriends are right about everything. Ethan is smart, so he learns everything quickly. And relationships too. He's like a robot. I input codes to him, and he will do the sweet behaviors in a relationship on time and correctly. Such as remembering to give his girlfriend a hug before leaving the house, giving his girlfriend a gift for Valentine's Day, and remembering to bring a bouquet of flowers when he meets up with his girlfriend. His behavior is like an instruction in a system, not out of emotion. When he sent me the same type of bag from the same brand for 5 consecutive Valentine's Days, I looked at Ethan's calm eyes and had a strange thought. Ethan can't really be a robot. It took me 5 years to finally realize that I couldn't teach Ethan love and that the distance between Ethan and I couldn't be crossed by love. Tears slammed onto the screen of my cell phone. Teardrops blurring Ethan on the screen. At that moment, I made up my mind. I'm going to break up with Ethan. The next evening, while I was organizing my new home, Ethan called. I deleted Ethan's WeChat last night after posting "Let's break up." Found a familiar agent to look for an apartment first thing in the morning, and found a moving company to move in the afternoon. In my experience, he will not read private messages until he is done with his side. The call came sooner than I expected, and I took a deep breath and scratched the connect button. "Where are you?" It started with Ethan's usual one-liner, only in a tired voice. I tried to sound calm. "Broke up. So I moved out." He pondered for half a second and asked me back, "Why did you break up?" There were a lot of reasons, and I picked the most recent one. Because I don't want a boyfriend whose breakup news is a day away. Ethan lapsed into silence on the other end of the line, and I assumed he was thinking about our long-ago problematic pattern of getting along. So I waited patiently for one last time for his reply. "Is it just because of that?" The doubt in Ethan's tone seemed innocent and cruel to my ears. He let out a long breath and softened his voice. I told you. If you have an emergency, you can just call me. It's convenient. I don't check my messages much when I'm busy. Huh. I was exasperated and laughed. I never should have expected Ethan to be reflective. I didn't listen to the rest of what he said. So I hung up and blacked out the number. I was exhausted from looking at houses and moving in one day. And after a quick tidy up of my room, I went to bed early, only to be woken up by a knock on the door late at night. The annoyance of being woken up was greater than the fear of someone knocking on my door in the middle of the night. So I walked over to the door in anger and shouted impatiently, "Who is it?" Then in the cat's eye, I saw my ex-boyfriend Ethan. It's me. Ethan kind of regretted shouting that. He heard me and now I couldn't pretend to be asleep if I tried. What's up in the middle of the night? I was already asleep. I opened the door halfway, my tone unkind. How did you know I lived here? I could sue you for harassment. Using some reasonable and legitimate little reasoning, I surmised that you would look for an agent you knew well. That I didn't. And that the best way to find an apartment would be to go to a peer recommended by Little Lee. Although asking for contact information took a while. Little Lee is an agent we knew from our previous house search. I didn't tell him about the search because of the breakup. I guess I thought we were a couple. Seeing Ethan's appearance intended to seriously tell his reasoning process. I interrupted him without giving face. I know. Then what are you doing here? Ethan is immediately quiet. And after a long moment, he lowers his eyes and pulls out a bouquet of roses from behind him. Tada, he dubbed unskillfully, trying to surprise me. I didn't take it, and the silence was followed by even more awkwardness. He explained in a low voice, "It's late in the day. The florist is closing. There aren't 99 roses. So that's all for now." I looked into Ethan's eyes and asked him, "Did you come just to give flowers?" Ethan's eyes averted for a moment. Then he thought of something else and his speech became underlined. And the mechanical keyboard. I came to pick up my Valentine's Day gift. I threw it away. I said without changing my face. Too lazy to return it. Threw it away when I moved. Ethan's eyebrows furrowed. It was clear he disapproved of the behavior. Don't be so impulsive. Hey, never mind. Ryan told me about the keyboard. And I have a problem with it. I didn't put myself in the shoes of the giver and consider your feelings. As for the reply to the message, as soon as I heard forget it, a fire started to rise in me. Forget it. Again. Ethan. I interrupted his self-reflection, pausing for a second to look up and lock eyes with him. I was saying we were breaking up because you weren't answering messages. Have you seen our chat logs? It's always me sending a few messages. You return one after a long time. When we first fell in love, we talked about this. You said you were busy and didn't read messages often. You can call if there's an emergency. Those kitten and puppy videos are quite fun. But I don't know what to return. And I don't think it's necessary to send a haha to every one of them. I think everyone's personality is different, and I don't mind being the one who expresses more. But I realized afterward that I don't send you anything funny like I used to. And I gradually feel that it's not necessary. Last month I asked, and you talked about this topic. We are getting more and more flat together. You said we've been in a relationship for 5 years and that dopamine, which produces love, would peak in concentration after 6 months and then gradually decline, continuing to be secreted for up to 4 years, and that it was normal for us to be like this. Okay. You talk about science. You're right. But I now realize that even in the first year of the relationship, you responded very little. As if I was in a one-sided passionate love, not liking the gifts I sent, not returning my messages, forgetting to book Valentine's Day restaurant because you were busy. I can forget about these little things. It's okay. But Ethan, that's how love fades little by little. I looked at Ethan's face. There was no doubt that the current Ethan was even better than the 23-year-old Ethan. But I couldn't feel the heartbeat in the slightest. There are too many things like that, and I have to forgive you because you approached me in the middle of the night and sent me a bouquet of flowers. You've got a lot of time on your hands now that you're done with your busy schedule. And you thought of me and came running over to make up for Valentine's Day. But I'm the one who's tired from moving today. And I have to go to work tomorrow. Why? Ethan, why do I have to accommodate you all the time? I'm tired. Really. Still unable to hold back the tears that were smashing down my face. I took a deep breath and slowed down. Ethan, I used to look up to you and think that you knew everything and that my boyfriend was so great. I said, but now, I'm tired of this whole loving you thing. I don't want to love you anymore. Ethan's perspective. My brother. I told you to buy a bouquet of flowers and apologize. But I didn't tell you to do it now. Ryan snorted at me. It's no wonder Hanwei-san doesn't forgive you for disturbing someone's sleep in the middle of the night. Not really. I scratched the air uneasily. Back there she said she was tired of loving me and didn't want to love me anymore. I left of my own accord after Sophia finished because she looked really tired and needed to get some rest. When I saw her crying, an uneasiness rose in me like never before. Things were out of my control, and I couldn't make a judgment. She was crying so hard I felt like I should do something, but my body froze and I couldn't even make a sound. My subconscious told me that any sound I made would be a hurt to her. I finally said dryly, I'm leaving. Close the door. After I left, I kind of regretted it. I should have at least said to her, don't cry. It shouldn't have been like that. It shouldn't have been like that. I was desperate to find a solution. So I knocked on my cousin's door in the middle of the night. I tried to give as much of a bystander's perspective as I could on what had just happened with Sophia and me. Ethan listened to the whole thing, then asked for my cell phone. And after briefly scrolling through our chats, Ethan looked up. His features scrunched into a frown. Brother, how long have you been like this? I answered truthfully. It's always been like this. Is there a problem? Do you like Hanwei-san? I gave him a look that said, you're asking a common sense question. Of course I do. Ryan scratches his hair. He looks like a teacher with a difficult student. Brother, let me be honest. From the things you just said, I can't sense how much you like Hanwei-san. When I heard you talk about the keyboard during the day, I thought that Sister Hanwei was angry because you said the gift was bad. But now it seems that Sister Hanwei broke up with you because she couldn't get a response. When you're in a relationship, you have to provide her with emotional value. You have to show her that you value her feelings through your actions. Even if you compliment her on the keyboard against her will, it's still a kind of response. I sat quietly, digesting Ryan's advice. Relationships aren't like math problems with standardized answers. My mind was a mess, and I needed to find the source of the mess. It's okay. Brother, Hanwei likes you so much. She didn't give up even though so many people gave her a hard time before. Talk to her. Show Hanwei some love and she'll forgive you for sure. Difficulty? I caught the word acutely. Ryan realized that he had said the wrong thing. And under my pressure, he ended up stammering about something. People thought she was the one who was pestering me. She was intentionally given the wrong directions when she came to the school to find me. She was bluntly told, "You don't deserve Ethan." In the early days of the business, some people would intentionally discuss professional issues she didn't understand in front of her, pretend to ask for her opinion, and then finally ask her to order food and clean up the house. Ryan lowered his head. The more he spoke, the more guilty he looked. That's right. I used to be quite naive, thinking that if my brother is such a great guy, the girlfriend he finds must be of comparable strength. So I was a bit disappointed when I saw Sister Hawei at that time. I didn't say anything about Sister Hawei, but I didn't help her when others made things difficult for her. I'm sorry, brother. For a moment I found it difficult to even breathe, as painful as having my heart clenched maliciously. I was merely spectating. So how sad was she at that time? Why did she have to go through all this? I pinched my palms hard with my fingernails to ease the pain. My throat is astringent. It's not me you should apologize to. It's Hawei. Yes. I apologized to her later. I was too immature at the time. And Hanwei said it was okay. It's okay with me. I interrupted Ethan. This year's year-end bonus will be cancelled, and the salary will be discounted by 70% from this month onwards. When the LeetCode brush reaches the full 500 channels, when will it be restored? It's time to practice your code. And if you don't know how to fix the bugs and still need to find me to help you out, why did I recruit you? I coldly glanced at Ryan, who was frozen in place. His mouth opened and closed, but in the end he didn't spit out a word and slumped his shoulders. I ignored him and got up to leave. There's more. I thought about it and walked back in. I was the one who chased her in the first place. I was determined to cut Ethan out of my life. As a result, Ethan was on fire, and videos of him rummaging through the trash were everywhere. The filmmaker was a small-time gamer who worked around the clock, and when he went downstairs late at night to take out the garbage, he was startled by Ethan looking for something, and his professionalism made him realize that this might be a hot spot. So he opened a live broadcast for his viewers. "Brother, what are you looking for at night?" "I'm looking for the Valentine's Day gift my wife gave me. A mechanical keyboard. Brand A. Black box. Have you seen it?" And then the clip went viral. Comments about Ethan's serious questioning while rummaging through the garbage were so hilarious that the internet instantly went into a parody frenzy. One moment, he was bitterly saying, "I'm looking for my Valentine's Day gift from my girlfriend. Sneakers. B brand. Have you seen them?" The next moment, a male college student is showing off his new shoes with a happy face. "I'm looking for my boyfriend. He's 58 and looks like Daniel Wu. Have you seen him?" "I'm looking for my student ID card. A black one from the University of Z. Have you seen it?" Short videos such as these have swept across the internet, with netizens showing their skills and playing with new styles. Later, it was revealed that Ethan is the founder of Sogo Technology, which is currently in the limelight, taking the heat to a new level. About the company's founder rummaged through the trash cans at night to find Valentine's Day gift triggered a lot of speculation. Why would Valentine's Day gift be lost? Why did Valentine's Day gift get lost? Was he kicked out of his house for rummaging through trash cans at night? Let me guess. Is it because the wife sent the keyboard to the boss and she threw it in the trash? So the boss went through the trash in the middle of the night to make up for his mistake? How can you throw away a Brand A keyboard that costs so much? Brand A keyboards are not worth the price. People who can't afford Brand A say it's not good. But it's good for me. In the conference room, Branda's brand manager showed us the network public opinion. He wiped the sweat on his head. At present, the public opinion about the keyboard is this situation. Our side. We hope to dissolve the negative public opinion. If you can, it is best to seize this hotspot. A wave of publicity. The program to give the earlier the better. The document will be fine. I suppressed the emotions raging in my heart and replied calmly, "Of course. We will give a version before 12 o'clock. I realized the meaning of backfired spectacularly. I didn't throw away the keyboard. I put it in my new home. Ethan didn't use it. I used it myself. I was angry. So I told Ethan to throw it away. Now I have to go to public relations specialist to get rid of it." Reporting on the public relations specialist program we discussed together, I observed the client's expression, looking less than satisfied. "Well, what do you say? It's not quite right. It's not quite right. How about this?" I raised my voice slightly, sweeping away the dullness of the conference room. Since the negative public opinion is that the keyboard is expensive, then our official microblogging to send an announcement. Simply admit that we are selling expensive. Mr. Hua looking for that keyboard should be the most upscale one of the brand A company, not the mainstream model of the volume. We can from the opening cost. No screws, full bayonet production process, etc. To the public to explain the reasons for the high price. But the most expensive thing is the thought contained in the gift giver. The sense of accomplishment of buying a treat gift for yourself, and the urge to use this keyboard to achieve a certain goal. The most precious thing is the meaning that each user gives to our keyboards. Of course, we will organize the language piece a bit more. And finally, we can mention other hot styles of keyboards. Briefly introduce the advantages. Welcome to experience. And 7 days no reason to return. Seeing the customer's eyes light up, I knew this program. Over. Just as I breathed a sigh of relief. The customer's excited voice rang in my ears. "Not bad. Then you guys see if there is any way to link up with Mr. Hua again." He encouraged us. "You guys can let go of the idea first." I raised my eyebrows and blurted out without thinking. "The internet is discussing that Mr. Hua is always pissing off his girlfriend. So we can publish a keyboard apology guide based on the characteristics of our own keyboards. For example, clicky switches have the best sound when kneeling up because of the obvious sense of paragraphs and the rhythmic feeling when triggering. And 104 keys have the most comfortable sound when kneeling up because of the large surface area. The 104 key keyboard is the most comfortable to kneel on because of the large area. Shout out to Mr. Hua and ask him what keyboard he prefers. We'll give it away for free. Can Mr. Hua send a copy of the video of kneeling on the keyboard when the time comes? Maybe I said it too smoothly and the idea was too bold. The people in the conference room froze after hearing it. Boss sure he was the first to react, reprimanding me in a deep voice. Sophia, my supervisor, Sister Ran, rounded off the conversation by changing her tone to a lighter one and saying to me, Wei, letting you let go of your thoughts is not letting you let yourself go." I immediately picked up on Sister Ran's words and apologized to the client. "I'm sorry. My personal boldness has nothing to do with the company. Besides, his ex-girlfriend might not be ready to forgive him." The client was amused, waved his hand to show he didn't care, and said with a smile, "If you put aside Mr. Hua's identity, this idea is really quite interesting. Let's first land on the direction of the open letter you mentioned. Okay. The public opinion feedback was better than expected. I love this line. Thank you to each and every user. It's the meaning you give it that makes it special. So I am also such an important person. Brand A was a gift to reward myself for landing the grad school entrance exams back then. It wasn't cheap, but it stayed with me for a long time. And it's what I'm using now to type down this quote. This letter has touched me. A card can be used to send all the members of Public Relations Specialist Department the same type of keyboard as Mr. Whoa. The boss came over with a happy face and said aloud that the customer was very satisfied and the sales of keyboards had gone up. Why don't we just follow up on our success and let Brand A Keyboards contact Sogo Technology to hype up another wave of big events? He said. The boss is excited. He said according to Han Weiss' idea. So that was ex-girlfriend apologized to the whole network to seek forgiveness. A brand keyboard also shouted for Hua to intercede. As long as the reunion of the 99 netizens to give away the keyboard giveaway activities. And then let the ex-girlfriend to come forward. And Ethan live. And finally because Ethan to find her to send the A keyboard. The two were moved to get back together. Our group listened to a quiet. The quiet of speechlessness. I heart to hear straight frown. But in the way of the boss identity. Or squeeze out a smile to persuade. I was just casually said. Who knows the truth? And the cooperation on the side of Sogo Technology won't be that high. Right? The boss waved his hand in disbelief. I have inside information. The real situation is similar to what is said on the internet. The boss of Chongguang Technology has turned over the garbage. But it is not a hype. I secretly slander. Where to come from the inside information? Parties do not know? Rather, ran bluntly, pointing out that it is not good. This is considered a moral abduction. If that Mr. Hua is really a lousy ex-girlfriend does not want to forgive him, I have a friend who is Mr. Was college senior and knows his ex-girlfriend. He said that the girl has been talking to him for a long time. Her condition is average. She can't find someone as good as Mr. Was hardware condition. She will definitely forgive him in the end. The boss said with conviction. I just feel absurd to the point of being ridiculous. Just about to open my mouth to refute. The boss' cell phone beeps. A customer is looking for him. You guys think of some ideas first. I'll try to contact them and see if I can get in touch with Sogo Technology. The boss patted me on the shoulder before he left. Branda's client is very satisfied. I'm very optimistic about you. Hallway. After he left, Sister Ran told us not to think about it and to ignore him. Sister Ran followed her boss when she started her own business, and she had the courage to make a command. He's too much of a hype man now. Sister Ran sighed and quickly returned to her normal self. Let's all do what's at hand first. I had just returned to my workstation when I received a message from my sister at the front desk saying that someone was looking for me, saying that it was someone from Ethan Technologies. He wore a mask and couldn't see his face, but he was quite tall and brought a big bouquet of flowers. The receptionist's sister sent a gossipy emoticon. My eyelids jumped. Seeing a familiar figure, my temples vaguely tightened. Ethan holding a large bouquet of roses sitting in the company's front desk. I instantly stood up. I grabbed in front of him to open his mouth. You're coming with me. I was in a rather irritable mood. It's a terrible feeling when you're trying to put the past behind you and start a new life, and then someone sticks to you like a dog and messes up all your plans. I took Ethan to a deserted stairwell, and just as I stood there, Ethan took off his mask and handed me a bouquet of flowers as if he were honoring me. And I had a lot of mixed feelings. He said in all seriousness, "I said 99 roses for you." He remembers to give me a bouquet of flowers when there's so much going on out there because of him. Ethan's capitalist face, as if he knew nothing about it, became more and more repulsive against the backdrop of the colorful roses. The laborer who was dealing with his public relations specialist case did not look happy. I said, "Ethan, do you know what's going on?" Ethan lowered his eyes. The whole person looked abruptly sad and aggrieved. "You're breaking up with me. I mean about you getting a keyboard." Ethan let out a small ah as he tensed up in a rare rush. "I'm sorry. I couldn't find it. Sorry." He looked me in the eyes, serious to the point of stubbornness. "Sorry for a lot of things." I froze, reeling a little. I wasn't broad-minded enough to say lightly that it was all in the past. It's just that the apology came out of nowhere. After all, after 5 years of talking, I figured had come back to me. And knowing Ethan as well as I did, had rationalized the pros and cons of the breakup, about how high the sunk costs were, and how it's only natural for dopamine to disappear. I even rehearsed in my head the action of dashing off without waiting for him to finish his analysis. But I didn't expect him to apologize right off the bat, probably because he's at work. His racing brain is now calm, unlike the night when it's dominated by emotions. I looked away, silent, then sighed. Let's forget it. Ethan, I was with you at the time because you were so much better than me in terms of education and ability. And I did have a pretty low self-esteem. So low that I kind of ingratiated myself with you and the people around you. And with the impulsive confirmation of our relationship, I was kind of suffering from a bit of an emotional attachment to the relationship. I thought, I need to get better. I need to show people I'm worth it. So I'm willing to do the little things they ask me to do. And since you're not as emotionally available, I'm going to give a little bit more and ask for a little bit less so that I can look good enough for you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that your love is too sensible and too patterned. When I say send flowers, you will always send that kind of flowers. When I say send gifts, you will always send that kind of gifts. I don't even know whether to say you are obedient or not. Do you remember the first time we had a Cold War? I fell in college gym class. You asked me on the medicine. And then there is no text. I feel concerned about the lack of temper with you. You do not understand the reason for my anger. You explained that. Ask more wounds will not be good. On the medicine, on the good. I later think you are right. First low to find you. Yesterday I hurt my hand. I also think there is no need to look for you. A person can handle it. You also cannot make the wound immediately recover. Why not let you fix bugs? You will also choose to do that. Is not it? Ethan? Ethan wrinkled his eyebrows as he listened to me, not denying it. My mind was at peace and I pulled a smile. Look, you're really good at making choices that maximize benefits. But I'm more interested in doing childish and boring things alone right now than in figuring out the optimal solution to every problem with you. 20-year-old Sophia would have needed your flowers. But now I don't. And I don't want you. Neither of us is wrong. Just wrong that we met. The perspective we see love. Clearly 2 kinds of people. Go away. You shouldn't see me now either. I twisted my head around and said in a businesslike manner, "Keyboards I threw in my garbage can at my house. I was impulsive yesterday. If you need them at your company public relations specialist, have your staff contact me." Ethan dropped his eyes and didn't say a word. I'm afraid he hadn't been denied anything like that since he was a child. The silence was as long as a century. I heard Ethan carefully whisper, "I can learn. I can change everything you said." He lowered his head and handed me the flowers, awkwardly selling himself. "You know, I'm smart. It'll be just the way you like it in no time. Why don't you teach me again?" "Okay." I pushed the bouquet away and laughed bitterly. "That won't be necessary, Ethan. Feelings aren't something that can be taught." He was about to say something else, the bouquet shoving back and forth between us. But the door to the stairwell's security exit slammed open. The ever-composed Wren gave a startled look as she saw exactly which young couple was having a private meeting in the stairwell. But she quickly reacted and raised her hand, signaling the cigarette clutched in her hand. "You guys chat. I'll go smoke somewhere else." She took a step back, even thoughtfully holding the door open for me. I simply pushed Ethan away with all my might. "Go away. Don't interrupt my work." I turned away from him. I asked other coworkers and found Ran, who was smoking on the balcony. I was still organizing my words when Sister Ran spoke first. She exhaled her smoke and smiled a little. "I'm sorry for bumping into one of your secrets." She didn't intend to ask in detail and said in a relaxed tone, "Then I'll share a secret of yours too. I don't want to work with Sherhi anymore. I've accumulated some contacts in S-City and am planning to go there to open a public relations specialist company," she said. Sister Ran turned her words around and looked at me seriously. "Hallway, do you want to be my partner?" I didn't give Sister Ran an immediate reply, and Sister Ran didn't rush me to answer. I was brought up by Sister Ran, and the tacit understanding from years of work allowed us to know the weight of the task at hand. Late into the night again. There is still a manuscript to be watched. I let Sister Ran off work first. "I'll clean up later." Sister Ran simply agreed. "Okay. Then you come to work later tomorrow. I'll talk to the personnel." "Oh yeah. I told the receptionist this afternoon that person from Sogo Technology is here to talk about the project." "How good-looking shoes." "Only the person who wears them knows whether they fit or not. And if they don't fit, you lose them." Sister Ran patted me on the shoulder. "I've been in this industry for so many years. You're the one I'm most optimistic about, and I'm looking forward to your future." I knew what Sister Ran meant and was inexplicably touched by a sore nose. I puffed up my chest and assured her, "Don't worry, Sister Ran. Sophia's contestant has gotten rid of all her baggage. She's going to run at full speed now." As it turned out, the baggage found its way to my door. At 1 a.m, I dragged my tired body up the stairs to my home when the sensor light in the hallway came on in response, and I shrieked in shock and took several steps back when I saw a man pinned in front of my house. I was slightly relieved to see that it was Ethan, and my anger increased after my heart attack. "What are you doing here again?" "I came over to get the keyboard." Ethan stood up straight. "The department said I need to be a public relations specialist." "Yes, it's required to be a public relations specialist," he repeated, but obviously with more conviction this time. The reasoning was irrefutable. I couldn't refute it, and I warned him, "Stay at the door. I'll get it for you. You take it and go." Ethan took the keyboard I held out to him but didn't move. "Ethan, let me emphasize again. I have to work during the day and I don't have time to play with you." I raised my voice. "Don't think one way or the other. What the hell do you want?" Ethan sensed my resentment. He lowered his eyes and his mouth opened and closed before finally making a sound. I thought about it. You don't have to forgive me, and am not in a position to ask you to be with me anymore. I'll learn to be better on my own. I'll always be here. Ethan clutched the rectangular keyboard tightly. The whole thing looked a little funny, and he had an unrealistic little look of anticipation in his eyes. Will you look back at me once in a while when you do? I shut the door with a grimace. The next day I was woken up by a phone call from Sister Wren. The alarm clock booked later than usual because I could arrive late for overtime. A mess, Wren said bluntly. Have you seen the hot search? It's rumored on the internet that the brand A keyboard incident was a hype for you and Ethan. I immediately woke up and opened my social media platforms while talking to Sister Wren. Marketing claimed that the recent explosion of fire due to find a wife gift to a boss late at night to a woman's home night chat. And the woman is said to be a well-known public relations specialist company staff. According to industry sources, a brand keyboard public relations specialist letter is from the hand of the woman. Hua is indeed in fierce pursuit of the woman recently. The woman. The marketing number concluded. Could it be that Mr. Hua is trying to please the girls so he cooperates with the drama and fools the entire netizens? And attached a few blurry photos of Ethan in front of my house yesterday. This girl is so disgusting. She really does anything to get attention. What kind of looks can charm Mr. Hua? Please ask for a high-resolution picture. I'm pulling the plug on the A keyboard. What a show. The business tycoon is actually a stupid white sweet love brain. The hot comments about me are almost all negative. Sister Wren said on the other end of the phone. Public opinion is now being steered in the direction that Ethan is acting for you. She reminded me. The public opinion is now unfavorable to you. I'm not sure if it's the public relations specialist on Ethan's side who is directing it. So get ready to deal with it as soon as possible. And I'll be able to send out a clarification in the company's name at that time. Grass. Sister Wren cursed in a low voice. And after 2 sharp, deep breaths, I heard Sister Wren's voice again. Hanwei, listen to me. I just received a message from that bastard Sherhi. He fired you. The system also cleared your information. You cannot get into the company now. He asked everyone to go to the company to prepare for him to respond to the live broadcast. It is said that the people of Chong Technology will also come, more than likely to join forces. She paused. Are you okay? May have just woken up. My voice is a little hoarse. I took a sip of the water that was sitting on the bedside table and forced myself to calm down. Now is not the time to indulge in negative emotions. The most urgent thing now was to come up with a solution. I'm now preparing the company's proof of my dismissal without cause. Hard Sister ran to help me inquire about the content of their response, so that I can synchronize the preparation of the information. I also have a few well-connected media friends on my side. I'll go and contact them in a while as well. Sister Ran breathed a sigh of relief when she heard me finish. Okay. I'm almost at the company. I'll let you know the progress in real time. And you can also file an arbitration for compensation afterwards. I believe your next company will also support you in arbitration, such as a boss like me. I heard Sister Ran's meaning and my eyes warmed up. I gripped the phone tightly. Sister Ran. Thank you. Sister Ran finally admonished me meaningfully. I know you're a very nice girl, but you don't need to be so decent when other people have already torn your face off. I didn't respond. No matter how personal my feud with Ethan was, I couldn't believe he would do something like this. Sister Ran sent a message. The live broadcast will start in half an hour. Sure, he has already prepared the content. Ethan is said to be on his way and will come over to participate in the live broadcast. This situation does not seem to be an impromptu preparation. It should be planned in advance. Reality, however, forced me to speculate with the worst of bad intentions. And I couldn't help but shiver. Maybe coming over to send flowers was to create the illusion that he was chasing me. Maybe looking for me in the wee hours of the morning to get my keyboard in order to take a picture of the act. Maybe everything Ethan said was a lie. The pessimism almost overwhelmed me. I pinched my arm hard to get over it. Sophia, get a move on. I quickly headed to the teaser response live feed. I couldn't miss a word they said. The best way to face the abyss head-on was to jump. That's when Ren sends a zip with a succinct message. Quick look. I immediately skimmed through the contents and my eyes lit up. The live broadcast began. Sure, he was dressed in a suit with a serious expression, and after briefly introducing himself, he dryly admitted that the scandalous heroine that was hotly debated online was an employee of the company, but had no knowledge of the employee's emotional life. Our company has long been providing public relations services for companies at the forefront of the industry in many fields such as FMCG, technology, and finance. And we have stable partners. So we don't yet need our employees to use their emotional life to pull projects. And we respect every employee's privacy. But that doesn't mean we allow our employees to violate public order and morals. As a company manager, I regret that such a situation has arisen, and we have already dismissed the employee in question. China's public relations specialist industry still has a long way to go, and I hope that people will not be prejudiced against the entire industry because of their personal behavior. Sure, his live broadcast is definitely prepared. The opening introduction of the company's strength at the same time, but also emphasized that the exchange of projects is the personal behavior of employees, with the dismissal of employees as a punishment for bad behavior, not only to draw a line, but also to let the onlookers feel happy, and finally rose to the level of industry development to win the support of everyone. But all of what he said was based on stigmatizing me. I calmly scrutinized the record of the live broadcast I had just made, my fingers typing rapidly on the keyboard. There's no point in having people throw dirt on you for nothing. Every word he said would become a weapon for me to fight back. Sure, he glanced at his phone, looked up towards the camera, and smiled politely. Mr. Wa has arrived. I'll leave the rest of the time to him. He gives the center seat to Ethan and sits himself next to Ethan. Ethan's calm and collected face appears in front of the screen, and I subconsciously hold my breath. There was the illusion that he was staring at me through the camera. Ethan sat down and took out a few photos from different times from the folder he brought with him, showing the audience the group photo. But the girls standing next to him were all mosaicked. The employee that Mr. She just mentioned is my girlfriend of 5 years. These are some of our photos from these 5 years. We are ordinary people. We didn't intentionally disclose it, but we have no intention to cover it up either. As Mr. Sure just said, they respect the privacy of their employees and don't know about their emotional life. So no one in Sure's head office knows about my relationship with her. She's been in charge of a lot of projects based on her own strengths. Like last year's hotly debated Seeing Her, which was a project led by her. Next to her, Sherry's smile froze on his face. Because of my problem, we broke up on Valentine's Day. I wanted to get her back. So I went to the trash can, looking for the gifts that were thrown away because of me. I'm sorry that my behavior made such a big fuss, even affecting Brand A keyboard. And I've also asked Company A about the situation at that time. Z, as a leading local public relations specialist, was naturally the first option for Company A to work with at that time, and Z sent a team of the company's elites to take charge of the project. Ethan was speaking plainly, but inexplicably there was a hint of mocking Shuri's tone, and Shuri's face turned red and blue. She was no longer in a relationship with me at that point, and as a professional, she didn't have to turn down a project, which she could have done with flying colors, because of her ex-boyfriend. As for the late-night chat, it was because she had just gotten home from work at that time. The keyboard was lost in the trash at her house, and I made an excuse to meet her to ask for it. There is no hype. It is my unilateral behavior. I here again to apologize to her, and please be a witness. I will not do anything to make her feel troubled in the future. At the same time, I have personally donated 10,000 computers and A-brand keyboards to underprivileged schools, and I will show you the list of donations when they are completed. Ethan speaks frankly, with an air of conviction about him. Lastly, I would like to ask everyone to leave her alone and not to spread her personal information. He sank his voice and his eyes became sharp. I will take legal action for malicious slander and pursue it to the end. As Ethan said this, his gaze went to Mr. Shur, who was sweating coldly next to him. At the same time, I pressed the button to publish the blog post. Hello everyone. I am the subject of the internet rumor about the speculation of brand A keyboards. Mr. Ethan and I used to be in a relationship, but that relationship ended before I took over the brand A keyboard project. So there is no such thing as Mr. Ethan cooperating with me in the hype as the marketing number, Circle X said. However, when I took over this project, I also admit that I was a bit selfish. That is, I had a good feeling about the A brand keyboard, and I chose the A brand as a gift based on this. Today, I saw the hot search, and we all feel the same ridiculous. But more ridiculous is that this farce is by my former company boss. Sure, he single-handedly created. Figure 1, Figure 2 is sure he and marketing number, Circle X said, chat records. Sure, he is bent on making this event even bigger. Learned from the front desk that today there is a SOGO technology to come. Learned by mistake that Ethan brought flowers to find me. Think there is a story inside. So after work to follow me. Secretly take photos of Ethan and I. Fabricate the story. Push me out to take the fall. And finally contacted the SOGO Technology, a brand of digital companies, to jointly clarify the plan to earn a wave of traffic in the way of the black and red. As for why I was slandered, because he couldn't afford to offend Ethan. And when he fabricated the black story, he was considerate enough to portray Ethan as a stupid white girl who was being taken advantage of. I, on the other hand, am easier to pin down. She's been too prominent lately. So let's use this opportunity to make her suffer. Even if she clarifies her relationship with Ethan later, I can pretend to apologize and let her come back to work again. Selling her a favor. Another wave of conversation. These were sure his exact words when he chatted with the marketing number that published the rumor. Is the so-called respect for employees' privacy that Mr. Shur talks about tracking and fabricating black information about employees to gain traffic? Is the so-called support of the industry in Mr. Shur's words smearing and suppressing employees and destroying the industry norms? In addition, if the company fires me without reason, I will apply for workplace litigation. And I will also take legal measures to protect my rights and interests when Shurha slanders me personally. After graduating from university, I have been working as a public relations specialist, which is a very challenging job. But I have also met a lot of seniors and friends who have helped me, and the kindness I have received far outweighs the malice. The public relations specialist, I understand, is like a sincere conversation for the public. This blog post is my public relations specialist for myself. Thank you for listening. After the blog post, social media was once again abuzz. A keyboard-induced rash omen. Sogo Technology founder's scandal turned out to be a public relations specialist boss hype. The public relations specialist boss who claimed to respect his employees was openly filming their privacy. The media spin spread and countless netizens flooded my comment section. I'm sorry, sis. I misunderstood you before. You're very good. I really like this program. I really like it. Support rights defense. I let out a long breath. My tense nerves finally relaxing. Sister Ran called me and said lightly, I just quit my job. You haven't eaten yet, have you? I'll bring you what you want to eat. So Ran was the first person to come to my new home with her luxurious takeout. I was a little embarrassed to see Sister Ran carrying a big bag, saying she was bringing a bowl of spicy hot pot. But I didn't expect her to bring so many delicious things. I hurriedly went up to help her with her things. This meal should be my treat. You've helped me so much. Wait for the wind to pass before you go out. There's no rush to treat yourself. Sister Ran waved her hand graciously. I didn't do anything. Just passing on a message. But that information. Ethan gave it to me. Sister Ran opened the bag and said as she took the takeout, he asked me to pass it on to you, saying that you deleted him and couldn't get in touch with you. I'm not putting in a good word for him. I'm still counting on you and I to go to S City to make a big splash. It's just that I did misunderstand him about the live broadcasting. So I'll clear it up for him. Sister Ran cleared her throat. A change in the norm of broken. I am frank and open. Do not do like sure he has a villain. Brief contact Ethan. Feel that this person cold refreshment is not bad. If you want to go to Ethan, I understand. Oh, no matter. I still hope that you can go to S City with me. I guarantee that I will be in the treatment you mentioned 20% higher to help you find a full hanging Ethan Elite handsome. And S City has a lot of fun. I smiled and took Rand's takeout box. Then it's a deal. I'll go to S City with you. Sister Ran froze, then excitedly jumped up on the spot and rushed forward to hug me. I promise. We'll have a better, broader future. But I went to see Ethan anyway. A week after the drama ended, things exploded online as fast as they disappeared. And with Sogo Tech's incredibly efficient lawyer's letter, my real life suffered little, but Ethan showed his face live on air. So instead of a date in a public place, we opted for the home where we had previously stayed with Ethan. I had obviously been away for less than a month, but it felt like a world away to be back here. Ethan kept the house clean, and when he noticed my eyes scanning the corners of the house, he lamely invited credit. I cleaned it every day. Then it looks like Mr. Hua isn't busy these days. I responded politely, taking a seat on the couch. It's okay. Ryan's gotten a lot better at writing code lately. Ethan went to get me some water. Ryan and several of my coworkers have complimented you on how well you write your responses. He added, I think it's great. 2. In front of me was the oolong tea he had made for me. My favorite tea. If they need a public relations specialist, they are welcome to come to me. But my fees are not cheap. I responded to the compliment without touching the tea on the coffee table. My eyes going to Ethan, who was sitting across from me. Mostly, I have to thank the person who gave me the evidence. I owed Ethan a small, sincere thank you. Ethan. Thank you. Ethan's eyes look like they've been lit up for a moment, and the corners of his mouth turn up slightly, finally looking somewhat familiar to me. I'm just giving the weapon to the best person for the job, and you're the one who brought it to its fullest power. Ethan consciously deepened that smile again, trying to appear friendlier. So, no deletion of your WeChat friends. I won't bother you. It was as if Ethan and I had switched places, and it was obvious that he was trying to provide emotional value. I didn't pick up on his words. The silence made the compliment I had just given seem even more awkward. I closed my eyes and then opened them again before finally speaking, making my voice sound as cold as possible. Ethan, we've broken up. I don't love you anymore, and am moving to S tomorrow, and I probably won't come back today except for work trips. I got up and got ready to leave. I didn't want to spend any more time with Ethan. I had been stuck with him for too long. Too long. Ethan was baffled by the fact that I was leaving and finally gave a forced smile that looked like it was going to be a cry. Yeah, I did hear from your coworkers that you guys are going to be partnering up to start a company. That's pretty cool. I wish you the best of luck. And go wherever you want to go. He couldn't say any more and lowered his head, his face buried in his palm. It was the first time I had ever seen Ethan in such pain, and I stood still, waiting one last time for him to finish. I know that you don't love me anymore, he whispered in pain. I went through the pictures from before and I saw what you looked like when you loved me. He looked up with red eyes, like an abandoned puppy. He was so aggravated. How come you don't love me anymore? When I looked at the sad Ethan, I suddenly remembered our first encounter. The Ethan who explained to me the principle that it is easier to get drunk when mixing carbonated drinks and alcohol. The Ethan who confidently helped me with my projections. And the Ethan who confessed his love for me with the words, "I'm very good at calculus." How can I not love him anymore? What can I say? If I hadn't been so inferior in the beginning of the story, and Ethan had been more considerate and attentive, we might have had a different ending. We finally became better people for each other through the painful bonding day after day. But we also saved up enough disappointment and were left with an irreparable mess. Ethan. I whispered his name one last time before saying goodbye. If only we had met in the beginning the way we are now. With those words, I turned resolutely to leave. I heard Ethan call my name behind me, and he said that he would learn to become what I liked and would always be here. He said a lot of things that resembled a confession, but I didn't turn around because I was running off to where I belonged. A bigger, grander future. End of text. Extra first acquaintance. Ethan's roommate said that he would treat him to dinner, but in the end, he dragged him to the lounge bar and brought him to a row of unfamiliar faces sitting at the card table, where his roommate finally confessed under Ethan's icy cold eyes. A couple of nearby colleges are having a joint sorority, and I had to ask my high school classmates to hook me up with another person so that there would be more people. Ethan, you also know that our school's male-to-female ratio is 7-1. I also want to talk about Sweet School Love-O. Ethan pulled out Jinder's tightly held hand expressionlessly. But I don't want a relationship. Kindred snapped his fingers. That's why I chose to drag you over here to fill the room. Ethan eventually sat down with a cold face. But it turns out that the main reason for being single is still himself. Ethan doesn't say a word. And the other boys have a wooden, awkward conversation that ends up silencing the other female students. All the other tables were chatting away, which made the table look very dull and awkward. That's when Sophia showed up. She came with a friend, wearing a red halter dress that complemented her very well, and her long dark brown hair was curled and beautifully bright. She smiled and said hello to everyone, graciously and naturally. She was a great conversationalist, talking about current trends and recently released movies, all areas Ethan didn't know much about. But everyone listened with great interest. First, several girls were amused by her, and then the boys naturally joined in the conversation as well. From the moment she took her seat, the atmosphere came alive. They were going to play liar's dice. Ethan was silent. Sophia thought he didn't know how to play and was too embarrassed to say anything. She wanted to liven up the atmosphere, so she intentionally made conversation with him. At some point, the seats got messed up and Ethan's roommate left to go to the bathroom, so Sophia naturally sat over. The moment she sits down, Ethan smells a nice aroma. His heart beats so hard for some reason he can't explain his behavior. From the moment Sophia comes in, he has trouble taking his eyes off her. She's bright and soulful, yet he feels a little scared because of his own erratic behavior and purposely doesn't look at her. So when Sophia asks him how come he's not playing shuffleboard, Ethan inexplicably and aggressively replies to her, "I'm not here to fall in love." She froze for a moment. Then her eyes curved in a smile, and she pointed to her friend. "Neither am I. I was dragged here by her. She said she'd fill me in on calculus if I went." Ethan felt weird inside hearing the reply and had to dryly picking up on her initial question again. "I don't know how to play dice." "I'll teach you." Sophia explained the rules of the game, and Ethan listened carefully, saying that it didn't matter if she didn't know how to play. She'd know how to play in 2 games. Ethan pondered. That's like a statistics problem. A new game is about to start. She gives Ethan the dice compulsion and dice, encouraging him. "Don't worry. Just try it. Newbies have newbie luck." Ethan shook his head. "I don't believe in luck. But this can be calculated. Then you can trust me." Sophia raised her head to look at him. The corner of her mouth raised in a confident arc, her beautiful almond eyes shining brightly. Ethan's other voices seemed to fall on deaf ears. His heart thumped, and his calm world broke into a flash of bright color, feelings had never experienced before, breaking through the ground. Ethan is a very efficient man. After recognizing his feelings, he quickly strategizes and launches into action. He has to show her his strengths. So when they lost a game of craps and wanted a drink, Ethan stopped Sophia from drinking a carbonated drink. He said seriously, "Carbonated drinks release carbon dioxide when they enter your body, which accelerates the spread of alcohol and makes you more likely to get drunk." "So?" Sophia inclined her head. Ethan brought her a fresh glass of wine and said in all seriousness, "You can drink this." Everyone suddenly laughed and Sophia was amused as her friend coaxed, "Gee, I thought you were going to say I'll drink it for you." Ethan realized, and calmly remedied the situation by saying, "I can drink for her, too." Then he drank his glass, wiping the corners of his mouth. When Sophia lost in the back, Ethan self-consciously intended to drink for her again, and she moved over the glass and pointed to her face. "You're blushing. I'm not drunk. I drink more on my face." Ethan let out a small hiccup and he immediately covered his mouth. "Sorry. I'll tell you what. I'll help you with the odds in the next game." Ethan backed up behind her and whispered, or maybe I should say, I'll help you with your newbie luck. Sophia didn't lose any more games. Sophia was surprised and praised Ethan. You're great. Ethan modestly pushed the glasses on the bridge of his nose. It's okay. I need to do a little math for the statistics problem. If you want to know the process, I can write it down for you. In fact, Ethan's heart was very proud, finally able to show his good skills. Sophia's friend trailed off with a long ooh. What a coincidence. Weiwei was worried about not being able to do statistics recently. Eventually, they stopped punishing drinking and played truth or dare instead. Ethan ran out of excuses for not being able to help her anymore, and Sophia lost the last round. She chose truth or dare. She drew the question. Which one do you like? The person who likes you, or the person you like to pick? Without hesitation, she answered, the person I like. And what if that person doesn't like you? Well, until I don't like him. Sophia held up her face, agonized for a moment, and then smiled. Sophia's friend shook her head and put her arms around her. She's got so much love. I've known her since junior high school, and she's really good to her friends. Cannot be arched by the pega. Another burst of laughter. Time is almost up. Everyone happily dispersed, regardless of the final sorority success or not. This party is quite enjoyable. Everyone laughed and said that there is a chance to get together again next time. Ethan followed behind Sophia and her friends, hesitant how to go up to add microblogging. Ethan followed Sophia and her friend, hesitant to go up to them and add them to his Twitter account. Go ahead. You said you wanted a boyfriend with a good calculus. I think he's pretty good. Her friend inclined her head and whispered to push her. Seeing Ethan behind her, her eyes lit up. Handsome guy. Are you convenient to give Weiwei a ride? She seems to be drunk. I'm going back in a different direction from her. Let's all add a WeChat first. And let's say when we get there. Sophia's friend logically let them all add their contact information, and then pushed Sophia to Ethan's side, saying that her school was in the neighborhood, and ran away with a smile on her face. Sophia. Ethan read her name as he looked at the name note sent to his cell phone screen. Han means the sky will be bright. I was born when it was slightly light, so I took this name, meaning the first shimmering light of the morning. Sophia patiently explained her name. I'll remember that, Ethan said solemnly. The two of them walked side by side. The perfect opportunity to be alone. But when Ethan didn't say anything, Sophia was more interested in not saying anything. She couldn't always be the one to take the initiative. Sophia thought the boy was overly stern, but stern in a way that was kind of cute. Well, she admitted she was mostly impressed by the way he helped himself to the dice. She wasn't very good at science, and inexplicably carried a bit of an admiration filter for people who were good at math. She quietly reddened her ears again at the thought of him chestily whispering the numbers in her ear. The wind was still a little cool on the early summer evening, and Sophia sneezed in her halter dress and scrunched her shoulders. Ethan immediately walks quickly to a little distance in front of Sophia. Sophia at first thinks he wants to walk faster and picks up her pace, but just as she keeps up, he walks in front of her again and blocks her. Sophia stopped in her tracks. Why are you walking so fast? Ethan let out an awe as he explained. The wind is coming from the front. I'm wearing short sleeves today. I don't have any clothes to drape you in, so I'll walk in front of you to block the wind. Ha ha. Ethan, you are so funny. Ha 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 ha. Sophia sniffed and laughed so hard that the little mole on her left cheek was shaking. She smiled so beautifully and vibrantly. Ethan wished for that moment that she would always be this happy, waiting for calm to return to the surroundings again. Ethan, who hadn't been so nervous for all the exams, spoke softly. I'm good at calculus. It took Sophia a couple seconds to respond, and she said slowly, I thought you said you didn't want to fall in love, but then I met you. The wind lifted the corner of Ethan's coat, and he said, a little shyly, but firmly, I like you. Extra, meeting again. I didn't expect that I would bring you to a sorority to make up the numbers, but in the end, you got off. And that time became my last domestic sorority. Jinda left the country in his junior year of college, stayed abroad all the time, only came back this year, and now works for a well-known financial magazine. I was actually quite attracted to Sophia at the time, and she really shined on that occasion. So when I went to the restroom, you two were sitting together all the time, he said. Kindred still wanted to reminisce about the past, but when he saw that Ethan's face was not right, he shut up immediately. After all, they had to interview Ethan later. It's hard to get an interview with Ethan nowadays. It's rumored that Ethan's company is about to go public, and everyone wants to get some news from him. Is there any significance to Mr. When naming his company Sogo? The interviewer asked. Ethan, who had been answering the question so well, paused for a moment before adjusting his expression and replied, there's no special symbolism. I just wanted to put the two words together. Chom is my name, and Guang means the first beam of light in the morning. Finally, Ethan was very cooperative in taking photos for the interview, and one of the employees quietly asked Jinda if he was close to Mr. Well, when he was in school, Jinda looked at Ethan, who was taking pictures, and shook his head with a smile. He didn't have a deep friendship with anyone, and when he went to school, he was a bit of an unearthly fairy. Sunhel, owe me another favor. Hey, raise the invitation to the reception upstairs. A lot of public relations specialists will be there. After the photo shoot, Jinder handed Ethan an invitation and added, seemingly unintentionally, Hanwei will be there, too. Her company is going strong now, and it's well regarded in the industry. Thanks. Ethan took it and sincerely thanked him. It'll definitely help you next time you need something. Just do more interviews with our magazines. It's not easy for old classmates to change careers. Kindred patted him on the shoulder. You're much better now than you used to be. For the first time in a long time, Ethan experienced the feeling of being so nervous that his palms were sweating. He and Sophia hadn't seen each other for 2 years, but he had been paying attention to her news and watched the company she and Ran Yen founded slowly gain a foothold in the industry and seized the opportunity to make a name for themselves with their out-of-circle projects. And now they were working with big international clients and developing rapidly. Ethan initially tried to introduce them to clients, but soon they were recognized for their strengths, and there was little reason for Ethan to cross paths with Sophia. He missed her, but didn't dare bother. He bought another copy of the things she had once left in the house from memory and put them in their original places, as if she had just gone out and hadn't left. He remembered that Sophia had a mailbox that she didn't use, and he sent emails every day as if he had finally found a way to talk to her, like he was writing a diary. Knowing that it was an abandoned mailbox, He was careful at first, only dared to send an unsurpassed good morning, good night, then some ordinary concern. Remind her to eat. Give her a weather report. Later, he was a little more daring. He would share his daily life. I seem to know why couples chat will send a lot of trivial daily. Meaningless, but light chat will be very happy. It's like when I write unanswered emails now. But I feel a long-lost piece inside. I saw that your company won an award. Congratulations. Well, I still don't seem to understand love. I'm trying to replicate what they call good boyfriend behavior. I'll buy flowers every day when I get home. I'll buy that brand of bag every week. I'll practice with you in the air. And I get dragged to a shrink by Ryan. The psychiatrist said that being in a relationship is not a math problem, and that it's going to be different for everyone. There's no standard answer to falling in love. But you're the only answer for me. Sophia waded through the reception in her red dress skirt. Poised and confident and dazzling, Ethan thought back to their first meeting and how, after leaving him, Sophia had become more like Sophia. Kindred took a glass of wine and went up to greet Sophia. He deliberately sold the idea that he had met her once. He thought Sophia must not remember him, but she did not realize that she thought for a moment and accurately said his name. Kindred? Didn't we meet at the sorority? Kindred smiled and said yes, then pulled Ethan over. I brought my roommate over again this time. Unlike Ethan's nervousness, Sophia was calm. She didn't seem surprised at all and said a friendly hello to Ethan. Hello, Ethan. She called me Ethan, not Mr. Whoa. Ethan shook her hand with the same hand and thought to himself, this seems to be a good start. They even chatted, though mostly Kindred and Sophia talked about media-related matters, and Ethan didn't get a chance to interrupt. Sophia joked that it wasn't easy to manage your media relations, and that if she had the money, she'd like to buy them all. Ethan's eyebrows twitched. Then Sophia left. Ethan stood in the same place, watching her leave. Sophia's skirt long, a little unsteady. Ethan has not yet been able to make a move. A tall, handsome young man helped her. Sophia looked at him with surprise, and they exchanged familiar words as they walked together to the deserted balcony. It didn't matter. As long as Sophia liked it, Ethan retraced his steps. Kindred nudged him. Ouch! Big brother, you're chomping at the bit. Where's that energy you had when you were showing off how good you were at math? Do you want to go in first? It's cold outside. It's okay. I'll sit for a while. Just to blow the wind to wake up. You go to your sister. She must be very happy to see you. Ranyan's brother had returned from abroad without a word and made a surprise appearance at the reception. Randwan nodded. I'll catch up with you later then. Sophia is staring at the tips of her shoes and letting herself go when a shadow is cast in front of her. She thinks it's Randwan coming over again and looks up with a smile. Back so soon? She thought it was Randwan again and looked up with a smile. Back so soon? It turned out to be Ethan, who froze for a second, then nodded. Yeah, I'm always here. Sophia was a bit embarrassed to recognize the wrong person and didn't know how to reply, so she simply kept silent. Ethan speaks up first. My company is going public. This is a good reply. Sophia said politely. Congratulations. I can give you all my shares. There will be a lot of money. You can buy media. Ethan whispered. This is all I have right now. Maybe you need it. Sophia was stunned speechless by his words. A gust of wind blew over her. She couldn't help but sneeze. Ethan moved quickly and immediately took off his suit jacket and put it on her. He half crouches down and carefully twists the buttons on the jacket. Ethan looks over at Sophia and asks softly, "Does this count as going back to the beginning?" Ethan waited for her answer, just as he had waited countless times. It didn't matter. He could wait forever. And